Hey, Philip, how's it going, brother?
Going great, Michael. How are things in Texas?
Things are very warm. I just took the dog out, and I'm going to tell you what, it's good. I've got the thermostat set at 70, and both me and the dog are just in heaven, dog heaven. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's great to see. I can't believe that we're doing this. This is like a first for us, huh?
Yes, sir. It sure is.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's one of many in the future because, I mean, we can come to our social media family and all those folks out there now and kind of give them updates on a regular basis and they can see our ugly mugs. Right.
Mine, at least.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't think I win any prizes as well, to be honest with you. Maybe in my youth, but surely not at this point in my life. But anyway, hey, we're going to talk, about a special show that you've got coming up on some programming on the 29th. And I don't know a whole lot about it other than we're highlighting 1985. And I love the 80s. So I'm really excited. And I'm going to give you the floor and let you just kind of talk about it. So it's all yours, Philip.
Well, Michael, as you know, 1985 was probably one of the biggest years in the history of contemporary Christian music.
Cool.
That was the year that saw two of the most iconic albums ever released in Amy Grant's Unguarded and Russ Taff's classic album Metal. But in addition to that, there were several artists who released probably some of the finest recordings of their career that year. And so we're going to take one day on the 29th and we're going to give 1985 a whole day's worth of love with 18 of the biggest CCM albums from some of the biggest CCM artists of that year.
Woo!
And we're just gonna go back and revisit 35 years ago and listen to those synthesizers and those synthetic basses and everything else. And we're just gonna enjoy the mid 80s for a day.
Man, has it been 35 years? What happened?
I don't know. Time flew by. You know, they say time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, I'm
and
telling
that
you
year,
what. Yeah. Well,
that year we were all having fun with the music that year. It was really good.
Oh yeah, the 80s, man, were great. I mean, I'm a big fan of, I don't know, I'm a huge fan of the 70s, huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 80s was great and the 90s were good, but not quite the 70s and 80s, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a little bit different in the 90s.
Yeah.
Still some great albums turned out, and
yeah,
it went bigger commercially in the 90s because you had more albums selling 500,000 and 1 million copies, but really some of the finest Christian pop was turned out in the 70s and 80s.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no doubt about it.
And the 90s, we had great people, Michael W. And,
Yep.
we just had a slew of great artists in the 90s, Nicole
We
Sponberg.
did.
But yeah, the 70s and 80s, I guess it has something to do with just like in a mainstream music, it's kind of like the roots of an era of music. There's something special about that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
And I mean, for this day, we've got picked out. I mean, I'm not going to go over all 18 of them. I want to obviously keep some surprise, but I mean, we've got everything from Christian pop to Christian rock to Christian metal. I mean, we've pretty much got the bases covered as far as the sound goes. But in the end, it's all Christian and all classic. And these are going to be 18 albums that our listeners are not going to want to miss.
whoa, that sounds great. So here's a message from us to you listeners. Be there, be square. Let us know what you think. It means a lot to us to hear from you guys. And I know that many of you are great communicators, and we'd love you to just share with your family and all those out there, huh, Philip?
Exactly. And if there's an album from that year that some of our listeners would like to hear, let us know about it, because if we don't have it picked out, we can certainly swap a few things here and there on our set list. But if you remember one and for some reason we haven't thought about it, let us know, because I mean, we may put it in there. You never know.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, well, I don't want to bore them to death here, right? So let's make this short and sweet. So, hey, Philip, it's been great hanging with you, and we'll just looking forward to it, brother. Just looking forward to what you're going to put together.